Hi everybody, good morning. It's Gail here at Shabby Cottage Studio, and I am in the studio. I wanted to share my newest collection I just released in my Etsy shop. I really like this one so much. I'm calling it Vintage Wallpaper Variations. I had a want for some vintage wallpaper images, but in smaller patterns. So I went on a search. I found some vintage wallpaper patterns that I really liked, but a lot of them were still large patterns. So I chose the ones that I like, and then I took them into Photoshop and I made the patterns smaller. I made them to fit things that I might be doing, and so I thought that maybe you all might have a need for smaller patterned wallpaper images too. I also did some color variations, hence the name of this collection. This collection has 40 pages in it, so let's go ahead and get started. When I say variations, let me show you. Some of these have more than one variation. Most of them, it's just two variations, a lighter and a darker. This one, I believe, has 3, possibly 4 variations. So this is the original colorway, but I've made the images smaller. And then there is this, where I gave it more of a aged, you can see the difference here, an aged background color. And then this one, I went even darker. In fact, you can see between the 3. And then I even took that same pattern, because I liked it so much, and I did more of a distressed look. You can see some distressing going on in the background of this particular pattern. This is the original version, and then this is my version of aging and distressing the pattern. Let me get up a little closer. You can see the little birds in there. Some of them are very faded because of the distressing techniques that I used. Again, usually the lighter ones are the original color, and then I've given it a darker background, again for that vintage vibe. Here we have kind of a trellis, I guess a trellisy look, and then there's the darker version. You can see some of them are quite a bit different in color. This one, this is the original color. It actually has, I hope it'll show up on camera, it has a pink background. Now I know not everyone is a fan of pink like I am, but I know that many of us are. So what I did was I took that pattern and I gave it more of a neutral color background as opposed to the pink. And then I took it again and I gave it a distressed background, which I think you can see the distress on the camera. This was another one of those that I made the images a bit smaller, I believe. Maybe not. This one may have been already that small, but this is the original, and then there's what I did to it. This is one of my favorites. And this again is the original, and it has, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but the background itself is a pale pink. And then there's, I don't think you'll see it, but there's a little bit of white pattern on top of that. And then there is the aged look, and this one actually, I don't know, maybe you can see it on this one better, a little bit of the lighter, there's some kind of pattern in the background. I'm not quite sure what it is. almost, my eyes aren't that good anymore, but it almost looks like a faint crackle pattern. Now this one I did a little different. This is the original color, but this is not the original size. Let me show you here is the original size. And before I made it smaller, I was playing with colors, and I got this sepia tone, and I liked it a lot. So I kept it at this size with this color variation. And then I took and made the pattern smaller and gave it the darker vintage look. So you've got the same pattern, but done in 3 different ways. This one is a light gray background, and it also has another pattern in the gray. Hopefully that'll show up on camera. And then here is the vintage looking color. And you might be able to, I think you should be able to see that pattern, the lighter pattern in the background. Again, original color, my color. And then last but not least, this also has a, sorry if I got too close, a small white, where are you? Right there. Small white floral pattern on top of the gray in the background. But when I darkened it, you'll see that white pattern went away. So this one is just a plain darker kind of background. And this one's got a slight pattern in the background. You know, I didn't think, I liked this, but it wasn't my favorite. But I used it last night in a, I'll show you in a moment. I used it last night, and I really ended up, I used this one, and I really ended up liking it a lot. So you just never know until you really start using something. You think you know, but you don't always know. So since I had all these fun patterns going on, I thought we needed some background images and maybe some images we could use for collage. So I scanned the original of this 1602 document with the gorgeous writing. If you saw 1 or 2 of my last journals, you will have seen the original in those journals. Then I did some lace. I did a lace background. The orientation on this could be any way you want it. I originally designed it like this, but you could also use it vertically. And again, this could be a standalone journal page, and it also could be, let's say you wanted to put it on the back of one of these wallpapers, so you print it back to back, and then you've got that. Here's another lace page that I designed, and again, it could be a standalone page, and it could very easily be backing. And then this one, I really like this one. Then I decided to take some of the different patterns and make a couple collage sheets. So this also could be used as a background page, and you probably could use it as a journal page, just depending on the orientation of the pattern and whether you like it however it falls. But I thought this would be fun to cut up and use for collaging. And then here's the other one. Then I took those and I just made some faux washi tape and did a few circles. Just thought those would be fun to cut up and again use for collage. Can I get the, I think the whole thing is in frame. So then I decided, I wanted some envelopes. And I wanted a tall, skinny envelope. I'm calling it a policy envelope. I did this one with one of the lace images on it. And then I did a plain one that I gave it kind of an aged look because I thought this would be fun just to decorate by itself. Collage on top of it, or stencil it, or stamp it, or whatever your little muse can come up with. So then I decided we needed something to go inside the pockets, the envelopes. And I have some vintage time cards. So what I did was, my time cards, they're very long, but I shortened them so that they would fit inside of the policy envelopes. So again, I gave two variations, one a lighter color, more like the original color, and then one that I have darkened. Then, let's see, I went ahead and I played with the envelopes. This is the one with the lace. This one right here. And I kept this one very simple. Well, I will put this in my inventory box, and then when the time comes that I want to put it in a journal, then I can decorate it however I choose. Here is the back of it. And what I did was, I kind of tied this a little differently. I like things that are different. So on the back here, you can see I just slipped the string through the hole and then wrapped it around and tied it. Inside though, what I did was I took this image here and I printed it on newsprint paper, which I really like when I'm trying to make something look like an old document because it has this gray tone to it. And now I did have to trim it down a little bit to make it fit the envelope, but I had no problem with that. And I crumpled it up and I inked it and just had fun with the edges. And then figured out how to fold it so that it would fit inside of the envelope. And it really does fit in there. Of course I'm on camera, so it's going to say, no, don't put me in there. There we go. And again, like I said, I just did the tie a little bit different. And I like that. Like I said, I like things that are different. Oh, let me show you too. Where did I put? Oh, here we go. I cut out one of the circles. I mean, you know, envelope closures. You can do whatever you want. But I thought, if I had thought about it on this one, I might have gone ahead and taken this circle that I cut out, and let me remove the string, and pretend that the hole's not there. And I could have just put it like here, and then use that as a closure. So, and I could also, you know, I did play with the idea of putting it on the front of the envelope and collaging around it, but I decided this is one of the little faux washi pieces, and I decided to just keep it simple and decorate it later. So that is that envelope. Then I took this envelope and had some fun collaging. Excuse me, some water. This is one of my vintage grungy Polaroids that's in my shop. I did this is some Tim Holtz wallpaper flowers. I did one of my labels. These are in my shop. I did, this is a Tim Holtz saying, and some French text paper, some vintage sheet music, and I just tore part of it. I liked the name and I liked showing the date of the book. And again, I did some collaging on the back using some of my labels and some vintage dictionary page, some of the wallpaper, some sheet music. This is let me show you. This is this wallpaper. This is what I was playing with last night, and I really ended up liking it. But if you can see in the background here, I've got some of it going on. And then I just wrapped it around to the back. Then let's see what else on this one. I think that was it for collaging. And then again, I tied it the same way and tied the bow to the side. I kind of lean towards asymmetrical looks, so I opted not to tie it in the middle. And then let me show you inside. And again, I just did the closure the same way. And then inside I put one of the time cards and just did some simple collaging on that doily, some of that wallpaper pattern that I used on the front of the envelope and the back of the envelope. This is from an 1848 church conference book that I found in an antique store. And then a little die cut doily up here. So this would be a nice journaling card. So anyway, that is this collection, Vintage Wallpaper Variations, and it is now in my shop. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm having fun with it, and it will be showing up in future projects. Like I said, I hope you all are doing well and that you're having a great day. I will see you soon. Bye.